Hi. Is that okay? It's awful close. It's okay, though. Hi. Okay, I have a question about non-physical beings. Can I just move it just a little bit more?
Yeah, make yourself comfortable. We're just playing with you.
Okay, I do have like two questions. I'll make them they kind of go together a little bit. I have a question about the non-physical beings, like accessing my spirit guides. I know Esther got her Abraham as her spirit guides. Do each of us have our own collective non-physical beings, separate from like Abraham as a bunch of collective beings just for Esther? And then there's collective. And the reason why I ask this is because my father was interested in reincarnation and all that stuff, and he got a life reading done years ago, maybe when I was a young teenager, and he was told that there are like a handful of people, maybe 20, that you've lived in other lifetimes together before.
Well, our physical friends are always wanting to quantify what's non-physical. And when you try to quantify it, you always distort it. And you evoke from us, in other words, we will give you the answer that you can best understand. And so in the beginning, Esther wanted to know who we were, and we were referring to us as we rather than I. And so she knew it was more than one. And so the logical question is, how many of them are you? Yeah. How many of you are there? Yeah, and so her desire to understand was, there's about 100, but because that was as far as she could understand at that point. In other words, this is infinite intelligence. This is never-ending consciousness.
So like my father, who passed away 5 years ago, is he a part of Abraham, or do a lot of souls who move on, and they can choose to reincarnate and come back? Are they waiting around for like maybe the certain amount of people to relive another lifetime together?
Where do you get this stuff?
I don't know. I guess
the conversation about non-physical is as varied as the conversation about physical life experience. In other words, you could talk to a lot of people on this planet and they would tell you that the economy is hard. Or you could talk to some people on the planet and they would tell you that life is easy. Your perspective, where you stand at any point in time, causes you to draw these conclusions about how things are. And so we're wanting to give you the big picture about this. And you're asking these questions with such sincere desire to understand that it is our expectation that as we give you this brief and yet comprehensive description of how non-physical interfaces with physical, that you will understand it completely. Okay. So just relax and try to set aside. We're not going to answer the questions in exactly the way that you've posed them, because the questions themselves have so much cleaning up that needs to be done that it's just a hard way to go about it. Okay. So rather than saying, no, not quite like that, or a little bit like that, no, not quite like that, well, we're just going to tell you how it is.
Okay. Give it to me.
So, first of all, non-physical does not need a new body to form in order to participate in a physical experience. That's the first thing to know. Because we are consciousness, and so we are flowing to you and through you all the time. We can be present in the bird. We can be present in the cat. We can be present with you. We eat your shrimp with you. In other words, we are involved in what you are involved in, because we are consciousness, and you are consciousness in flesh and blood. In other words, you are consciousness. The separation between the physical and the non-physical is not necessary to make. It's only in your vibrational discord that you're not aware of the combining that we all are, you see.
So when Esther feels Jerry, does she feel him specifically instead of like a collective?
Yeah, she does. But it's because she has defined him. She knows what he feels like. And that doesn't mean that she knows what he felt like, and so now she recognizes what he felt like, because what he felt like is now what he feels like, because what he felt like is now not what he feels like. Okay. But what he feels like now is different from what Abraham feels like. What he feels like is different than what her mother feels like, or her father feels like, or what Jesus feels like, or what Buddha feels like, or what Einstein feels like, or what Steve Jobs feels like. In other words, everyone who has ever been, who is now non-physically focused, all of you have access to them. But you've got to find a vibrational frequency that allows you to define them. So it's all about your definition, you see. Okay. It's all about your vibrational discernment.
I got it, I think.
You did get it.
But I have one more quick question. It's about, 5 years ago when my dad died, I did feel something shift in me. I was very close to my dad. He was a wonderful, amazing man. But something shifted in me, and I realized that I wasn't really completely happy in my life. And I changed everything. Well, first I put myself through hell for 3 years. 3 to 4 years, back and forth, feeling very guilty because I just didn't want to be married anymore. I'm married for 25 years and 2 beautiful children, and I guess the guilt of wanting to live on my own and I feel like I've just been married my whole life. I just want to live on my own, and I put myself through hell for a couple of years. But what I want to know is my husband, was there a part of him that had a vibration going on that made me want to leave as well as just me? Because he says that he wanted me to stay and wanted to work things out. And that guilt, I've let go a lot of the guilt, and I know there is only one answer, and I've been working on it every day.
Can you understand why we've been talking today about not trying to sort it out with thoughts, by not trying to figure it out? In other words, is it this? 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 Is it this?
It's just feel good and
get what that does is just sort of scramble the energy. So we're going to tell you exactly how all of this is.
Okay.
So when your father made his transition, his attention upon you shifted. That was the original shift that you felt. Because never before had he been so present with the energy and holding you as his object of attention. But because of that heightened awareness about you, and because of the discord that was going on, in other words, almost anyone who experiences the death experience of someone that they really care about gets vibrationally out of whack. And so 2 things happen. The awareness of non-physical source is enhanced because someone who is really specifically involved in you is now focused upon you in a very strong way. And your grief about them not being physically in their body causes a really big wobble. That's the hell that you went through for that time, as you were describing it. There is no hell, but the discord that you felt, that's what that was all about. And it didn't have anything to do with anything other than that. Energy moved faster and you blocked it more. Isn't that a nice thing to know? And isn't it logical relative to everything? Then after a while, something that almost always happens kicks in for you. It happens to almost all of you. You lose your capacity to hold yourself against the current. In other words, you just got tired of feeling bad. You just got sort of tired of feeling bad. And at that point that you got tired of feeling bad, you started letting go unconsciously without even realizing it. You weren't focused upon it very much, about letting go. And then the energy began to shift. As your resistance subsided a little bit, the alignment or the energy that was coming from your father was greater. And so that's why, and then about then you start beginning to get inspiration. You start finding ways to get more clarity. You start,
I found you.
Precisely.
Yeah,
you find way. But in all of this, can you hear how what we're wanting all of you to do? We want you to just stop trying to explain things so much. You're just grasping almost desperately for an understanding, when the understanding really is so much simpler than you are.
I just wanted you to take away my guilt, that's all. But I'm pretty much over the guilt now. Only because since January 1st, I've been setting aside an hour every morning to read these pages that just came pouring out of me.
That's why we find you in a room full of people.
I know, because I am flying so high and things are coming to me amazingly.
You're flying high sometimes, but you are chattering about things that slow it all down.
I know,
and so just talk less about it, speculate less about it, say that rather than.
And I know I'm going in the right direction because I do feel good almost all the time. Right.
Well, that's where it's at, isn't it?
Okay. Yeah. Thanks to you. Thank you very much.
Doesn't happen very often, but we have a very strong message from your father.
Really? Okay.
Stop it!
That was good. I think that was.
There's more to the message. He's adoring you. Aware of you all day, every day. Keenly interested in what you're up to. Proud of you beyond words to even begin to describe. Eager about what's coming. You're feeling him all the time. Yeah. Trust it. And stop it. And stop that other stuff too. Stop that other stuff. Hurry before she tackles you in the hallway.